Did you know Stephen King charged Remedy for using a quote of his at the start of the Alan Wake game? $1. You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For all the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode 182. My name's Gav Bryan, I'm going to be your host, and on my virtual left is Mr. Richard Dobson. How you doing, Richard?
Oh, hello. Good, thank you. How are you?
Very good, very good. On my virtual right is Mr. Darren Edwards. How you doing, Darren?
Hello, yeah, lovely to be back. How are you?
Very good. God, this is like a meeting someone at a party. Very good. Yes, hello. Yes, let's move on to the next one. On my virtual opposite is Mr. Paul Renshaw. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing very well, Gareth, and greetings from Bonnie, Scotland.
Oh, there you go. We'll maybe hear a bit more about that in a minute. Sorry for the delay, everyone. We haven't been on for a while, but we're back. We're back in November. Excited, fresh, ready to talk about some amazing games. How's our week been, first of all, though? Paul, how's your week been?
Well, I was going to say, let's not build it up too much, Gareth.
Well, we've got...
My week has been very good. I've taken a week off work and I've come up to Scotland with the family to see my mother and my grandmother. And we've been doing all sorts of touristy things. So we went to the zoo yesterday and saw the pandas and everything else. So that was lots of fun. Edinburgh Zoo's absolutely massive, but I just wish they had found a flatter piece of land to build it on, because there is not a single flat bit of it anywhere. It's all uphill, both ways. It's terrible. And then today we've been to the National Museum of Scotland and educated ourselves, so we're feeling very cultured.
What have you learned, Paul?
What have I learned? I've learned that video games are good because in the museum there's a full-size replica of a Formula One car you can sit in and do some laps of a track, so that's quite good. So there you go. Video games are good for your kids. It's official.
Oh, God. I can't believe you're playing basically Forza in a bloody museum. Oh.
Why? But, you know, it was in a museum, so therefore it's high culture. Therefore, video games are good.
I've lost faith in humanity. Drop the bomb. Thank you, Paul. What about you, Darren?
No problem.
Well, it's been a while, so I've managed to get through the overlap and find the podcast realm, which has been nice. So I've been working quite a lot as per, but last night we went to see a screening of Psycho with a live orchestra for Halloween. So we did something a bit different. We left some sweets on the step and buggered off for the evening. So it was quite nice, actually, and it was amazing how they play it to perfect timing to the screen is incredible. The conductor's got a little analog clock on one side of his iPad and then the actual film playing, so he can make sure he times the orchestra perfectly to play the soundtrack. So that was really, really good. A couple of TV series watching. Loki series 2. It is Marvel, but it is the best Marvel thing I've watched in a good couple of years, probably. It is very good. If those Marvel fans want some kind of reason to still believe, then I would suggest Loki's the place to go. And I don't know if you've watched this yet, Gareth. Mike Flanagan's newest on Netflix, The Fall of the House of Usher, as well. We've watched a couple of those, but I'm looking forward to finishing that series off. So yeah, quite a bit, to be fair.
Wow, that is a lot. There's a talk at the moment, there's a rumour today that they're going to bring back the original Marvel Avengers cast, even Iron Man.
Yeah, I've heard that. I'm not sure if that will quite work.
I don't think that will.
Hey-ho.
They're worried, aren't they? I don't think it's probably them. I think it's just where you just get bored of stuff. We want something else.
It's too big and it's too many loose ends. At least the first few phases had some sort of arc, but it feels like it's run away of itself. But they're going to do something, I think, to rein it back in. Yeah.
Good. I haven't seen The Fall of the House of Usher yet, but we're going to watch it soon after a couple more things. I haven't really watched much recently. Richard, what about you? What have you been doing this week?
Well, just rewatched the film on Disney Plus, the sci-fi alien ones, No One Will Save You, last night.
Oh, what did you think? That's right. I talked about this ages ago, didn't I?
It was all right. I think it was really good
Christ.
until the third act, and then it all just sort of fell apart a little bit. And I appreciate what they tried to do with it, but it wasn't for me. The whole thing with there not being hardly any speech, and I didn't think brought anything to the table. But I appreciate the jeopardy that she was in for the most part.
Well,
I think the aliens were pretty good.
The speaking thing, because I said it here on the podcast, I didn't know, of course, that was a thing. And it's only like a half an hour, 3/4 of the way through I went to Bernadette. There's really no words in this. So that had a nice surprise for me, but of course everyone knows about it now. So it becomes, and like you said, if you know a bit about it, it might be a bit, what's the point of this? It's quite nice if you don't know, and they're not made a thing out of it, and then you'll go, oh, that's quite interesting. But yeah.
I think I was kind of expecting something when I saw the trailer and there was no speech in it, and knowing that Caitlin Diva, she's an American actress, I was like, well, it's not going to be a subtitle film, because they always do that with subtitle films where they don't put any speech in the trailers. So I was like, oh, is it going to be a silent film then? And then for the most part it was, but obviously with it being Halloween as well, we went to a party on Saturday and I had a Halloween costume disaster. I thought I'd be really clever by buying a cloak and dressing up as a traitor from the TV show last year.
Oh, very good.
But as soon as I walked into the party, everyone thought I looked like a hobbit and was just quoting Lord of the Rings at me for the rest of the night.
It's them hairy feet of yours.
Well, I did shave them beforehand, but obviously not enough.
Oh dear. Oh, Richard, I like that. Good. Right. What have I been doing? I've finished doing a show. That's why we're in the middle of the podcast for like 3-week run. I'm done. I'm over. I had to learn some new lines straight away for an audition for Sense and Sensibility film, and that was horrendous. And I'm all over now. I'm going to go away soon, so that's good for a little break. But we've been playing games. Now, I think the last time we were on the podcast, I think maybe it was Paul and Richard. We had a good old rant where Paul couldn't talk. It was really nice. He can reply back.
Do you know what? I don't know why I keep turning up for that. All I get is abuse.
Because the internet was trouble. Every time we talked over each other, he had to wait his turn. And he was livid. He was livid. He was so angry at what we were saying. He couldn't interrupt. It was amazing. But I think I was saying...
I can tonight.
You can. I think I was saying I was a bit bored, maybe, and we had a conversation about kind of like, not bored, just a bit like, some new stuff. I want some new stuff in games. I think October's delivered some of that. Should we talk about the first one? Maybe let's go, Darren, let's talk about the big one first of all. What's your first one?
Yes, so it's no surprise. My first one is Alan Wake 2, which came out at the end of last week. So it was bumped a couple of weeks because of the crowded, we assume because of the crowded release schedule, but the official allow us to put some more polish on it, I think. So, I mean, I'll just make no bones about it. For me, I think it's a good shout for Game of the Year. I was impressed at every turn. I started playing it last week and finished it a day or two ago. And all I did when I came home from work was just boot it up and play it. I was absolutely absorbed by it. It looks fantastic, especially on the Xbox Series X as well. I've heard that it potentially looks even better than on the PS5 on the X, which is really good to hear. And for those who haven't played the original back in 2010, it is a sequel to it as well, as the number 2 suggests, but it doesn't start with Alan Wake himself. So there's another character, Saga Anderson. So she's an FBI detective, and she's got a bit of a reputation for solving the seemingly impossible cases. So her and her partner rock up to Bright Falls because there's been a murder, and it's a ritualistic murder. So there's this cult that are on the loose. So they're tasked to go in and try and solve it. And of course, it being Alan Wake, it's never as straightforward as it seems. And in the game, you can play as her and you can play as Alan Wake. Seemingly 2 separate stories which then intertwine and start to come together as well, and you can switch between the stories at certain points. So there'll be certain save points, and it's an overturned janitor's bucket of water, and that's where you can kind of shoot over to the other storyline, if you like. So the combat works in a similar way to the original in terms of you've got to make use of light to basically illuminate the enemies, which are called the Taken, and it kind of strips away a surface level armor or aura around them, and then they can be damaged by gunfire and other weapons that you'll get, such as flare guns and stuff, as you play through the game. But it's just the way they tell a story. I mean, we've talked about on the podcast before, something I think you, Gareth, hold quite highly in terms of games is storytelling and how they tell stories and the mechanics they use to do that. And I think Remedy have really raised the bar with this, that the combination of FMV and CGI, and even when CGI Alan Wake it kind of morphs into the live action, the similarities between them are incredible. Like, it's an incredible achievement, and there's some really good actors, like David Harewood's in it. You know, there's just, it's very well done. It's very well acted. The voice acting is brilliant. The physical acting is brilliant. And there's music courtesy of Poets of the Fall, who return as the old Sons of Asgard as well, who are a Finnish band who were who've been linked to Control and other Remedy games as well. So I mean, I could just ramble on. You probably want to ask me some questions, put some structure around it, but it's absolutely brilliant. I loved every second of it.
Paul, Richard, have you got any questions before I go in?
When you said the enemies are called the Taken,
Mm-hmm.
do they have a particular set of skills that make them a nightmare for people like you?
Well, voice recognition. No, I think there's more. There's a greater variety of them this time round. So they've been corrupted by the dark place, basically. So spoiler alert for the end of Alan Wake. Switch off now. But he gets trapped in a dark place at the end of the first game, and he is basically trying to get out in Alan Wake 2. And if you think about it, at two sides of a wall, Saga's storyline's happening on one side, Alan Wake's is happening on the other, and there's bits and bobs that kind of get through, and it tells the story of how they kind of cross over and intertwine. But they're quite difficult. I think this time around it's quite a difficult game. So you will die, you'll run out of ammo, you might have to run away, you know, you might go off trying to unlock these cult stashes, which are like these strong boxes with ammunition and other goodies in. But as a result, you might come up against another enemy and end up getting killed, so it's not worth it. So it is a difficult game, and they are everywhere as well. There's some more kind of, it's not open world, but there are some larger environments, more typically with Saga. And then there are more kind of on rails, if you like, set pieces with Alan. And there's one bit in particular with Alan that I won't spoil, but it's just called Alan Wake the Musical, and it's probably the best set piece I've played in years in a video game, if not ever. It's absolutely brilliant. I couldn't stop smiling all the way through it. It was great.
Good. Richard, anything to add?
Yeah, because I've never played the first one, but would you recommend going straight into the second one or playing the first one?
I think it depends on how much you value the really getting into the story and getting absorbed into the universe, because it's a sequel. They do reference it enough so you can piece together what's happened in the first one to the level that you need to play the second one. But if you really want to get a really good understanding of the character of Alan Wake and what's happened and why he is kind of where he is, then I think the first one still stands up very strongly. So there's a remastered one as well of the first one, which they released 2 or 3 years ago, I think. So if you've got time, go and play the first one to get the most out of the sequel, but you don't have to play it to know what's going on or to enjoy it.
Yeah, I didn't remember anything from the first one. So it's like it doesn't. I remember he kind of he disappeared, and a few bits, but so it doesn't matter that much.
I hated the first one.
Well, there you go. It is a very different. I mean, it's a technical masterclass, as in it just looks ridiculous. It looks ridiculous. They do a thing as well, which I think, which I just find amazing. It's like you're playing a Saga, and at any moment you can just go to. She has like a mind palace, which is like the Hannibal series, which is like this kind of mind palace where they've got all the clues, like investigation board and this kind of room, and instantly you can just go backwards and forwards between action and go into this mind palace, which is a completely detailed graphical room with all these kind of clues and stuff. You're just switching backwards and forward without a blink on the Xbox. It's kind of like amazingly done, and just some of the best looking things you've ever seen. It's like, so it's kind of worth. And also, just on the thing on gameplay, there's nothing. What we were talking about last week, nothing feels predictable. It didn't feel like. I mean, I can't remember the first one apart from shining a torch at things. That's the only thing I can recognise from this one. But it does. It surprises all the time. It surprises in what it does. It's always kind of doing something different. And I'm only halfway through, so it might get a bit more the same at the end. But yeah, it's amazing. I think it's, for me, it's it's definitely game of the year. Well, up there, number 1 or 2.
I would say so. I mean, you've got a lot of good stuff to come. It, as you can imagine, so it's no secret, there's going to be DLC next year, so it doesn't end all neatly tied up. It's there's still loads of questions at the end as well. So it's a brilliantly told story, and it kept me hooked to the very end anyway. And I just wanted it to carry on, but obviously it can't go on forever. So
yeah, could be a big one. Because we, like Richard said last time, in the Xbox Hub team, we've all got different ones. Everyone's got something different. But it might be. I think I'm going to whack it up there, the top maybe. Yeah. Good. Thank you, Darren. Alan Wake 2. Paul, what have you got? What's your first one?
Well, in a change from the build things, I've suddenly remembered another game I've been playing, which is Lords of the Fallen.
Oh, yes.
So, yes. I've done the review for it. It's now live on the site. And basically, this is another sequel, almost, except the only thing it shares with the original game is the name. There's literally no link. Oh, and the baddie. The big baddie that's in it as well is the same as the one that was at the end of the first game. And it's a very, very good Souls-like game. I know you're a fan of a Souls-like, Gareth.
Yes. Yes, I am.
So,
Feel my gravestone.
It does actually do, like you were requesting, it does do something new, which is the fact that there are 2 worlds. So you remember we discussed it last time where we thought it was going to be a bit like Soul Reaver. It is exactly like that. You will get to points in the real world where you can't make any progress. But if you shine your magic torch around, it shows you that there's bridges to go over. And you can switch from the real world to the Umbral, which is the world of the dead, at any time. But in order to get out of the Umbral, you have to find either a vestige or a little statue that will let you transition back to the real world. So once you're in there, you might not be able to get out. So it makes it a little bit more worrying. So, but it looks good. It plays really well. There was an issue when I started playing it where it would go into sort of jerky motion and really stutter. But they fixed that very quickly with the patch, and it's been as smooth as silk ever since. You can get people in to help you, so you can do the entire game co-op if you wish. So there's none of this just getting people in to help you with a boss. You can have somebody and just do the full game co-op. So me and my son have been playing it together. It's obviously I've been hiding behind him, and he's been taking out all the baddies. So it's a very, very good game. So there you go. Check out the review on the website.
Yeah, what'd you give it?
I'm not at liberty to say. It may be a score that I get some ridicule for. You'll never know.
Good. Darren, what did you give Down Wake 2 before we start? I think you get it a 5, didn't you?
I didn't sit on the fence. I gave it a 5 out of 5, right. And I must say I've been lucky to play some amazing games recently. In the last 6 weeks, I've given 3 5 out of 5s, and they're the only 3 I've given all year. So we have just been through an incredible month or so for gaming, definitely.
Great.
What were the other 2?
The first one I gave was the Resident Evil 4 DLC, Separate Ways, because as a DLC, it was just they set a bar in what they did for the base game. I might come on to talk to the second one in a bit, which was Cocoon, a little indie one published by Annapurna, and then of course Alan Wake 2.
Is that the one about where the old people go and they disappear?
No, that's something that's a little
Oh,
bit more
right,
sinister, I think.
The old people don't go somewhere and disappear.
Well, I've
You've
never
been watching
honestly.
too much of the COVID inquiry, Paul.
I've never watched the film.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's just,
Yeah.
I knew that there was something to do with old folk.
It's a good film, the Cocoon. I just remembered
It's
it.
all right.
Yeah.
It's a bit wishy-washy for me. There's not enough explosions and shooting.
No. Good. Thank you, Paul. Lords of the Fallen. Richard, what have you got?
I'm not going to be as positive as you guys, unfortunately. Yeah. Another game that came out in October that I just put a review out for is Sonic Superstars, which is the what?
It's just you not being positive about a Sonic game. That's like one of the harbingers of the apocalypse, isn't it?
I mean, I review a lot of the Sonic games, but I would rarely say I'm positive about them.
I thought you were
being
a Sonic
fan,
super
Paul.
fan. Yeah.
Let's hear his thoughts.
Anyway,
for me sins. This is the supposed multiplayer Sonic 2D Sonic game, and I say supposed because the multiplayer doesn't work. It's exactly like how when you used to play Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and you could have a second player control Tails, but only so far as where Sonic was. If Tails was off the screen, then tough luck for them. And that's exactly how Sonic Superstars works as well. It will focus on the player that's out in front, and anyone else that's lagging behind needs to press the A button to sort of respawn on the screen, which isn't the multiplayer that was seemingly advertised. And it just feels like such a poor way to implement multiplayer into a Sonic game. I guess it kind of wants everyone on the one screen at the one time, but it would have worked so much better had it have just done split screen and had people at least able to play a full level at their own pace, rather than this method of having to spawn back onto the screen. Just didn't make any sense to me at all. And then it also has like a versus multiplayer mode, which again is very poorly done. It's not like, again, I'm referring back to Sonic 2, but the local versus multiplayer on that is still exceptionally fun to play, and what's in Sonic Superstars is just like a series of a couple of mini games that aren't very good on a looping 2D section of level, and then there's various different challenges to do, and then that's pretty much it. I had much more fun with it as a single player Sonic game. Unfortunately, that's not how it's really been advertised, and I think it's a massive missed opportunity.
Do you think this is the end of Sonic?
No.
Sonic will never die.
Oh, that's a shame.
It was interesting to sort of see how Sonic Superstars and Super Mario Brothers Wonder came out at the same time with a similar premise, and this one just seems to have been a massively missed opportunity for them.
Yeah, that is a shame.
It's such a shame. I'm a big Sonic fan like you, Richard, and I remember the originals, and I don't know what it is, just can't seem to get it right at the moment. Like when you're describing that seems like a kind of a throwback to how they used to work, but the wonders of modern technology is you don't have to do it like that anymore. So they could have, like Mario's nailed it, hasn't it? You see 4 players on the screen at once, and I'm disappointed, but yeah, that's a shame. Not surprised, I guess.
Yeah, disappointed but not surprised is how I would sum it up. Exactly.
Sounds like my life.
No.
Right, I'm going to talk about a game. What am I going to talk about? Oh, yeah, I'm going to talk about Jossant, which Neil reviewed for us. And he gave it a 4.5 out of 5. And it's on Game Pass now. It came out, I think, on Tuesday. Came out yesterday. And I've spent about a couple of hours with it. It's really good. So the idea is you're this kind of... no explanation really. You're this kind of strange sort of pink alien human with kind of lines of your face, and you're in this sort of deserty area, and you just start to climb, and you're climbing up these kind of almost like ruins. There were sort of fishing boats in some of these things. So obviously there was water there at some point. And you're climbing and you're going to little settlements and you're kind of like finding information from letters and about what happened to this world, or you're drawing frescoes, or you're kind of just finding little extra things to work out. And then you're just climbing, which sounds bad, but the climbing mechanic is really brilliant. So you have RT right hand, LT left hand, you put pinions down so you can kind of clamp to that, jump up, and you've got a stamina bar, but it isn't that very annoying thing in some games I've played recently when the stamina bar goes every 2 seconds and you have to kind of like hold on for dear life before it goes. It's kind of quite generous. But they just keep ramping up what that climbing mechanic does and extra little bits, and it looks beautiful. The game just looks stunning and has that kind of very kind of journey visual feel to it. Beautiful kind of soundtrack. Again, visual storytelling rather than, even though there are things you find letters, but it's you sort of guessing. You're trying to guess what's happened to this world and who this person is that's doing the traveling. It's really intriguing. If you've got the Game Pass, you've got to just give it a go. When I first played it, the first 5 minutes, I was like, oh. And then I was like hooked completely. And all I'm thinking about now is I want to go back and play the rest of it. It's great. I think Neil said it's about 4 to 5 hours long, maybe a bit longer. But yeah, it's a really wonderful experience. Another brilliant game that's come out at the end of the month on Game Pass. But give it a go. Let's have one more game each of them because we've got a lot to get through. Here's a Sirens. Yeah, that's gone.
Yeah, there we go.
Here we go. Dan, what's your second game?
So I will talk about Cocoon because I think it deserves a shout out. So this is I gave this 5 out of 5, and then Alan Wake 2 5 out of 5. So 2 on the bounce. So it was at the Annapurna showcase. So I've expressed my love for their showcases, much to Paul's dismay on the podcast and in the past. A collection of brilliant indie developers for the most part from all around the world. And this also landed on Game Pass as well. And it's from the gameplay designer who worked on Limbo and Inside as well. So you can imagine what type of game it is. And it's about 5 or 6 hours long, beautifully animated game. And again, there's no dialogue, there's no real story. You just emerge from a cocoon and start to explore the world around you. And essentially it's a puzzle game. So you have the ability to encase worlds in these little orbs and then carry it around with you. And then you use those orbs to move like ancient alien machines and solve puzzles to navigate the landscapes as well. But then at any time you can dive into the orb when you find like a little reflection pool. So you set it in the middle and then you can enter that world. And then you can start going to worlds within worlds if you've got enough of the orbs, as you kind of unlock them as you play. And then the orbs also give you abilities such as revealing hidden platforms or maybe teleporting from one side of the screen to the other. Excuse me. It's just a really clever, brilliant game. And it's one of those where I sat down and I said to you, Gareth, I sat down expecting to give it a couple of hours and played it to completion, didn't get up for about 6 hours. I was just absolutely captivated by it. It's even the clever use of sound. So you'll try different solutions, and only when you get the right one will you hear a little chiming sound in the background, just a subtle nod that you're on the right track. It's really, really impressive. And there's little boss battles as well as you go through. They're called Guardians, but each fight is different. So you have to make use of your abilities. So whether you're using the teleport technique to avoid getting bogged down by like reeds, so then the boss comes and tramples you, or whether you use this little helicopter to spray water on the boss and then give it a good kick in. There's just loads of different ideas in there, and I just think it's a brilliant little game, and everybody should go and give it a look because I loved it.
Paul, Richard, have you played it yet?
No, but it sounds good.
Unbelievable.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It sounds dreadful.
I talked about this
No,
on the
Paul.
podcast about 2 weeks
You've
ago.
given me a headache just talking about it.
I know it's not John Carpenter's stereotype gun battle, but it's
Hey, listen.
it's
John
great.
Carpenter's stereotype gun battle. You know what you're getting. So,
Dear me, Paul.
But
Try
yeah,
it,
5
Paul.
out of 5.
Yeah, it deserves it. It's brilliant. It's very, very good. Paul, what have you got? What's your last game?
my last game. I'm going to talk about a little strange one called Warm Snow. Now, it's not, as you might expect, just a game about water. It's actually a kind of top-down roguelite set in sort of ancient China. And basically, you have to run around, fight monsters with your swords, and then die, usually. Then you get to upgrade your character a little bit, and then you get to go on another run. And it's just very much keep trying it. And each time you do it, you get a little bit stronger. You can get a little bit further in the game. Classic sort of, I'm never quite sure whether it's roguelike or whether it's roguelite. So I'm going to have to get that defined for me one day. But it's one of those, and it's very good. It's got a very intriguing art style. It's almost like the characters are made out of paper and jointed. It's very hard to describe, but it's a unique look. And the action is pretty much non-stop, and there's multiple routes through the game, and it's always a different kind of layout. So on one run, you'll get a route where you can get to a new weapon, and on the next run, it might be that route will take you to a treasure chest, say. So yeah, it's always changing, and I'm really quite enjoying it. I'll be writing the review in the next couple of days, so keep your eyes out for that.
Warm Snow.
Warm
Good.
Snow.
Good. Great. Richard, what's your last game?
I'll talk quickly about the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection that I'm currently reviewing.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, good.
Everyone knows about Metal Gear Solid, and this collection that came out a couple of weeks ago contains the first 3 Metal Gear Solid games, the 2 original Metal Gear games, and then a fake non-canon American version that's sort of been discredited by Kojima since. But yeah, I don't need to explain about the first 3 Metal Gear Solid games. They're classics for a reason. Still play brilliantly in this collection, even though there's potentially a few issues around how they're presented. I think 2 and 3 in this collection are at 30 frames per second when originally they ran at 60 frames per second, and that's irked a lot of people that perhaps they've not given them enough love and attention. But I think the big thing for me with this collection is obviously these games are classics and they're still very playable today. But it's just how Konami have sort of handled it. So even the digital version of it will give you 5 apps in your game library now. So you have an app for the 3 Metal Gear Solid games, 1 each, 1 for Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2, and then a 5th one for all the bonus stuff. And it just makes it feel like a very disjointed collection rather than a all in the one sort of app. And you can pick and choose the games as on a list and things like that. But they also have each app has got a thing called a master book, which tells you the entire history of Metal Gear from start to finish where it is now. But that appears on every single app, and it's the same book every time.
Right.
And they've just made a few of these design choices that just don't make any sense. And it does put a bit of a downer on the collection as a whole, because obviously this is volume 1 and they've not officially announced volume 2, but it's going to happen. I just know that there's going to be a load more apps, and it would have been nice to have everything under one Metal Gear Solid umbrella and sort of celebrate the legacy of the series that way would have been a bit better.
Richard, can I ask you, what did you think of the MG3 remaster trailer that was on the Xbox conference last week? Were you impressed? Were you upset? Were you bored?
I thought it looked pretty good. No, but I think it's pre-alpha footage, which they were upfront about. So obviously, take anything like that with a pinch of salt, because it's not going to look anything like that when it actually releases. But I think it shows you just how far away they are with this game as well. Like, it's going to be at least a couple of years before this remake's done.
I don't know why they showed it. It's such a weird thing. So weird. Just don't. Yeah, it's so odd. Yeah. Anyway,
I
good.
have a question. If that's
I have a question too.
Oh my God!
Go
See
on,
if
Paul,
it's
you
the
go
same
first.
one. No, you go first, Darren. You said it.
Oh, bless you. So I was really looking forward to this, and I've read a bit of the reception and stuff as well about it, because I did a piece for the site about kind of hyping it up. I was a massive fan of Metal Gear when it came out. What have they done versus the originals for this collection, Richard? Because they've called it the Master Collection. What work have they actually put in to kind of bring it up to date?
So if we look at Metal Gear Solid 1, for example, it's got the different localized versions. It's also got the VR missions.
Oh yeah,
they're all included, which is good. But in terms of additional stuff, I don't think there is anything. I think we in the West have got the chance to play. Is it Integral? Is that the version that released? I'm a bit confused about all the different versions that are available, but I think there's some stuff that we're getting for the first time that perhaps we didn't have. But either way, the games are pretty much as they were when they initially released, which is a good or a bad thing. I don't know.
Okay, my question then. I mean, Darren's gone broad and everything. He wants to get a good picture of the game, which is fantastic. Well done, Darren. My question is, Psycho Mantis boss fight. How does it work when you can't plug your controller into port 2?
Well,
good shout.
You set up, before you start the game, you can set up a fake memory card, and you can choose what other Konami saves you want on there. So when it comes to that boss fight, he will say his lines if you've got those saved on the memory card. And in the options menu for the first game, obviously it won't make much sense to anyone that's not aware of it, but there's an option to change whether your controller would be considered in port 1 or port 2.
Ah, I see. Fair enough.
So you can still cheese. No, it's not cheese the fight. I guess it's the official way to do it. But if you want an extra challenge, leave it in port 1, because it can be done. It's just very hard.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Richard. I won't be playing that, but it's good. Never go back unless they've done something to it. I'm going to talk about one game really quickly because we've got quite a lot to get through. Is a brilliant indie game, another great game called El Paso Elsewhere that I reviewed. I don't know if it's up yet. It's basically it has the Max Payne gameplay mechanics. So you're this kind of like vampire hunter, but like a hard-boiled detective, and you take pills to keep your health up, and you've got guns and you shoot, but you go into the slow-mo, like diving backwards and forwards, exactly like Max Payne. So they've used that. It looks like a PS1 game as well, or maybe sort of just early PS2 as that kind of like thing. But what they do with that, and tell this story of this vampire hunter and Dracula, who's this female Dracula who fall in love and who had a relationship, and it's about them kind of breaking up. But you'll hear all the way through the story. But he's going to kill her because she's going to destroy the world. But it's told in like a Pulp Fiction, Tarantino-y kind of detective noir voiceover, and it's some of the best writing and the best use of that self-narration and cutscenes you'd ever see. It's like a film at some point. So well done. this is what they can do with these PS1 stroke early PS2 graphics. It's brilliant. And also the shooting stuff's fun. You're sort of on a loop. You're just going down level upon level, shooting things. And it's hard as nails. But luckily for me, there's a thing I can put in the thing that gives me infinite health and infinite ammo, because I wouldn't be able to do it. And it's kind of amazing. Even with that, it's amazing. You kind of go to each level, you rescue some hostages, kill everything, and then you go on to the next one. And it gets stranger and stranger as you go. It's a long old game. That's always my only criticism. So it's about 9 to 11 hours game, I reckon. For an indie game like this, it's quite long. So there's a couple of bits in the middle, so it gets a bit samey. But it's really good. I think Paul, you'd love that. I think
well, if it's got guns and shooting,
oh yeah,
I'm surprised
slow
you
motion.
liked it.
I know, I was really into it. Loved it. I really loved it. So there we go. There's our games. Now we're going to do a quiz in a minute. We're just going to do a nice little quiz, but we're going to just go through like we do at the start of every month. We're going to go through the Xbox Hub's 12 best Xbox and Game Pass games you should be playing in November. We're going to go through the list, and as usual, a lot of us won't know anything about these games or have nothing to say about them. So that's what happens every month. But we love it. We love the feature. We're going to do it still.
I've got the first one covered.
Oh, good.
We do like a list.
Yeah, we do like a list. So our first one on our list is, of course, Roller Coaster Tycoon Adventures Deluxe, which Darren can talk about. Can you, Darren?
I can, because I am currently reviewing this. So the review, if it's not live now, will be live very soon. So the original was a bit of a spin-off. I think it came off the Switch a few years ago, Adventures. But the original was back in PC, back in the day when I played it, in the kind of land of Theme Hospital and Age of Empires, that type of era. So this has come to Xbox, and it's compared to the original, it feels quite dumbed down. If it was called My First kind of theme park simulator, that would be more realistic, I think, in terms of how it plays. A lot of the stuff is missing from the original in terms of depth of options and things. So I'm not extremely impressed at the minute, if I'm being honest. But then again, I am a fan of the original, so I'm going to be a bit kind of biased. But yeah, if you like theme park sims, I think it's probably better for like younger gamers, to be honest. It's very simple, and it's very repetitive as well, something that the original avoided because of all the options. So I'm going to say you should be playing it, but maybe you shouldn't.
Well, that started our list off on a high. The 12 best.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go on.
Please. Because I remember playing the original as well on the PC, but you've done Park Beyond as well this year, Darren. But which one of those two would you recommend?
Park Beyond is in a lot of ways, mainly because of the customization options, which you go into one of these simulators kind of wanting. So as an example, in Roller Coaster Tycoon Adventures Deluxe, you don't hire staff and manage them. You just build like a maintenance shed, and a man will appear out of the maintenance shed and start doing maintenance around the park. Or you build a ride, but you don't need to build a specific queuing area. The visitors just walk towards the front of the building and just phase into it and disappear, and all of a sudden they're on the ride. So it feels very dumbed down and stripped back, which is a real shame, really.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
Thank you for that.
Good.
That's told me a lot.
Thank you. Dave, Ozzy does this lovely list every month. Good on Dave. I wish you put a date on, though. We don't know when it gets released. Every time, I'm going to say...
It's released today.
Okay, thank you. Good. He won't be listening to this, so he won't. We'll tell him.
It's a good job somebody was prepared, Darren.
Well, that's my middle name for, professionals on this podcast.
Well, Paul's got all the other dates, so we can ask him when it gets to
Absolutely. They're all in November.
And the next one on the list is RoboCop Rogue City. It's an unusual game. It's got sort of like really high reviews and really bad reviews. It's like real mixed bag. I like the look of this. Do you? I think we've given it a 4.5 out of 5. I think.
Did Paul review it?
No,
Ali. Easy. Just because it's got guns and shooting in doesn't mean I review it.
Guns shooting in a 4.5.
Yeah, exactly.
The Holy Trinity.
It looks great. I think it looks good fun. Anyone else excited about this? Anyone's going to play it?
Now I've seen the review, I'm quite interested. It wasn't really on my radar before, but Yeah, it's I do like the RoboCop film, the original. The second one's not so bad, like the remake, but the first one is proper. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's out now. I think today. I think it's today. That's the only date you're going to get. After that, it's all a blur. The next on the list is the Talos Principle 2. I think I might have reviewed the first Talos Principle. Maybe I didn't. I've played it anyway. It's a puzzle game. Looks like they've expanded that kind of world. I think before it was only in a sort of park, but now it seems to be huge, almost like Witness kind of like scale. But yeah, it looks great. Yeah, it does look really interesting. Anyone else want to play this?
I played the first one. It was all right, but it's not blowing up my skirt.
Oh, good. Thank God for that.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, good. Another game on Paul's list is Football Manager 2024. That's coming out again.
Oh, God, yeah. Can't wait for that one.
James will do a review of this, and it'll be the top review of the year for the next 8 months.
No doubt.
But it's back again. It's back on Game Pass again. I mean, I haven't played it for a while. I think I might give it a go this year. I just don't get on with the console version. I like on my PC or Apple. Let's go to Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. Richard, can I ask you about this first of all? Is this a remake of a game, or is this a completely new original game?
This is a new one. This is to sort of to bridge the gap between Yakuza 6 and Yakuza Infinite Wealth, or Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, that comes out in January. So the end of 6, spoilers, but Kiryu walked away from everything finally. So Like a Dragon, Yakuza 7, Like a Dragon, started off with a whole new protagonist, and then in this new one that's coming out in January, they're both back in it. So it's trying to bridge the gap between where Kiryu's been basically that whole time. So I'm under the impression it's a more condensed story for a Like a Dragon Yakuza game than it's previously been, but everything that I've seen so far, they've not lost all the crazy shenanigans that can also happen.
Good. It's on Game Pass. I will finish one of these games one day. As I said before, it's not because I don't like them. It's just because I just always stop. I just stop and go, I'll do something else now, and then never go back.
I think one day I'll perhaps start one.
Is this the one in the trailer where he was naked on the beach, or is that a different one?
No, that's a January one.
No, that's the January
World.
one. Yeah. That's the one with the Animal Crossing style minigame.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I'm not into that one. Maybe I'll play this one. Good. Good. Next on the list is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Small little indie shooter. The question is, will anyone buy this on Xbox, or they're just going to wait for a couple of months when it comes maybe next year? It's a hard one, isn't it? But that's coming out.
Nope.
People will like it. People will play it. Persona 5 Tactica. Is this another one of these? Oh, God. What's this one?
Never mind, God. Are you old enough to remember Final Fantasy Tactics?
Yeah, but I didn't play it.
Why? What's wrong with you?
That's terrible. Come on. Tell me about this.
Basically, it's they're taking the characters from Persona and putting them into a turn-based tactical kind of strategy game. And it's going to be awesome. And as soon as I get around to starting it, I will do a review in due course.
Oh, are you reviewing it, then?
Possibly.
Oh.
I'm not at liberty to say because the embargo is not yet.
Okay. All right, good.
4.5.
Persona games get a 5. So, gosh.
Okay, that's coming out soon. This is Dave Ossie's Bluey the video game. It's one of Dave's
that's got Dave written all over it.
Dave's got kids. He plays a lot of games with kids, and this is one of the Bluey the video game. Yeah, I don't know what else we could say about that, but it's got Bluey. I don't know who Bluey is, but he's got a game.
Bluey is a dog. Yeah. And Bandit is the best dad in the entire world.
You need to watch Bluey.
I'm not going to watch Bluey.
I think it's emotionally heavy. Is that right?
It is. It's honestly. I'm a member of a group on Facebook called Gaming Dad, and believe it or not, Bluey is like he's held up as this paragon of fatherly virtues. He is the Bandit, the dog in it, is the best dad in the world. So everybody should strive to be like Bandit and have kids like Bluey. So there you go.
Is this WhatsApp group depressed? Are they right?
Just what, sorry?
Nothing. Let's move on. Good.
Very rude.
EA Sports, WRC. Paul,
I'm quite looking forward to this.
Neil's doing this, aren't you? I thought you'll be in for this.
Well, I don't know whether Neil's doing it or whether I'm doing it or what. I think if Neil, I asked him the other day, are you doing this one? And he didn't really answer me. So there you go. If he's doing it, brilliant. I'll look forward to reading it. If not, then I guess I'll get stumped with it. Because, nobody else seems to like driving games.
I put my name in. I put my name in. Got taken away. I just don't like Forza. No, I do like Forza. I played Forza. It's.
Did you? Did you play it properly?
I did, but it got to a point when I was going around a racetrack and I was knowing all the turns before you did it. I was thinking,
well, that's kind of the point.
But how do I know this after 7 years since the last one? Because it's the same bloody track. Oh, that's what I'm not saying.
It's not Prague, is it?
No, it was something else. I don't know.
I mean, the fact that most of these tracks, I say, in fact, all of these tracks, I think, are real world locations. They don't change.
No.
So, 7 years is nothing in the life of a racetrack.
No.
So it's not like it's suddenly going to move to Miami and be all sunny and sandy, is it?
I want something different. I want madness. It's good. It's fine. It's okay.
It's good. It's fine. It's okay. Yeah. Awesome. You really don't want to play the crew mode. It is dreadful.
Came of the year.
It's not what Neil said.
Yeah.
Well, I told Neil it's like bad fan fiction for Forza Horizon. That's what it is.
Oh dear.
So,
let's talk Jagged Alliance 3. I think, Paul, you're doing this one?
No,
you're not, are you?
I haven't been told.
No.
So, no.
That's another
Although
one.
I do seem to get stuck with these ones. I've seen there's another Strategic Mind game out, so I'm going to get lumbered with that, no doubt.
This is RTS, but it's got brilliant kind of reviews on PC, but whether it comes to console and how that console transition is a big thing.
That's the thing. You've got to get the mapping of the controller right, otherwise it's just a mess.
Cage Vampires, that was brilliant.
Yeah, that was very good. I'm getting through this list. Teardown. Richard, you like the look of this, do you?
Yeah, I had a hands-off preview for it a couple of weeks ago now. This is looking really good. The art style that they've gone for with this voxel style, but with ray tracing, just looks really impressive. And the fact that everything's destructible. It might sound like it's going to burn your Series X down, but from what I've seen so far, it's running very smoothly at 60 frames.
Great. Good. Well, we'll see that sometime in November. And the last one on the list is The Invincible, which I love the look of. Another sort of spacey game, like almost a bit like Deliver Us from Mars. Yeah.
Looks very good.
It's very
Even
good.
the artwork looks great.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah. Very keen on that one. I'll play that. I'll pick that up at some point. And that's our list. I'm sure there's more in there that we've missed, but there we go. Now, let's play a quiz. We haven't done a quiz for ages. Richard's got one. Richard, over to you.
Yay.
Thank you. This quiz is going to be very quick, hopefully. Basically, what I've done is I've taken titles of games that we'll all know and run them through a thesaurus, and you've got to guess what title is.
Wow. I like this already.
Awesome.
Okay.
So, for example, if I said arachnid male, what would that be?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Yeah, there we go. That's all you've got to do.
I thought male like letter then. I was thinking spider letter. That doesn't work.
Well, herein may lie the problem. I have quite a few of these. I'll just see how we get on.
Yeah.
Is it just shout out the answer, or do you want us to buzz, or how do you want to play it?
Always buzz. I think I can remember buzzes.
What have we got?
Okay, cool.
What's our buzzes? What's our buzzes noise?
Well, mine was meow.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was yours, Dan?
Mine was Buzz.
And mine was Hummer. It wasn't that, but I'm going to go now.
No, it wasn't. That's new.
Oh my God! I never want to hear that ever again.
I'm doing
Gonna
that.
haunt my dreams.
That's my one. Hubba hubba. Yeah,
Is that your new one?
yeah. Hubba hubba.
Oh my goodness!
I think I can manage to associate that with you, Gareth.
Good, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right,
Surely
question
Gareth
one.
could be something like ding dong. But anyway, go on. Sorry.
Question one. Deity related to battle.
Meow.
Paul.
God of War.
Well done.
Can I change
Well
my
done.
Can I change
Well
my
done.
thing? Can I change it from hubba hubba? It's too long to do. Can I just have wow?
No.
Wow. That's it. Good. That's what I'm doing.
That's too close to meow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Get your own bloody buzzer, Briley.
Okay.
Do like you used to do.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Good. Thank you.
All right. Question two. Chronos Smashers.
Meow.
Paul.
Time Splitters.
Well done.
That's really
Well done.
good. Very good.
Question three. Lifeless Territory.
Meow.
Oh, was that Gareth? Is that Gareth's
that was
noise?
me, yeah. Dead Space.
Well done.
Brilliant.
I like this next one. Extraterrestrial Murky Dip.
I like that. I don't know what it is, but I like it a lot. That's great.
Darren?
I'm going to guess. I think it is alien hominid.
No.
That was what I was thinking. Can we have the clue again?
Yeah, extraterrestrial Murky Dip.
It's not this. Alien Isolation.
Oh,
No.
Meow.
Paul?
Alien Dark Descent.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, nice. That's great.
Oh.
That's really good. I love that.
It just light suddenly dawned.
That's really good. That's my favourite ever. Good.
Question five is weight outcome.
Buzz.
Oh, gone down. Sorry.
Darren?
Oh no, I think I've got this wrong. But heavy rain.
No, but very good guess.
Can you say it again?
Yeah, weight outcome.
When you say weight, is it weight as in weight or is it weight as in heavy?
Weight as in heavy.
We know heavy is her first word. Trying to think of games with heavy.
Not necessarily.
Oh.
That's the beauty of the
Oh,
thesaurus.
Meow.
Paul?
Meow, meow. Mass Effect.
Well done.
Nice.
Oh, well done.
Nice.
I would not have got that.
This one I think is a bit tricky, but shade connected with every Titan.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Ah, well done. Well done.
Oh, well done.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Aye.
Question 7. Satan can sob.
Meow.
That's great. I know what that is.
Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
I like that. Oh.
Question 8. Vagrant.
Buzz.
Darren.
Stray.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, brilliant.
Very
Oh,
good.
really
Well done.
Question 9. Deceased Peninsula.
Buzz.
Darren.
Fallen Isle.
Ooh,
Is
no.
that a thing?
No.
Death Stranding.
No.
Oh, Meow.
Paul.
Dead Island.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
great,
yeah.
This one I think is a bit trickier. Native reprobate.
I'm dreading what the answer is for this one. What is it?
Ooh. That's not ringing any bells.
No.
Native reprobate. Is it
Do you want
Gareth?
me to skip that one?
Oh, good.
No, I think you should tell us what it is.
I'll tell you what it is, but I'll.
Yeah.
I'll
I don't know the answer
Yeah.
then in
No.
that case.
It's Resident Evil.
Oh, very good. Never would have got that.
That's
Good.
good.
Very good, though.
Question 11. Mute Mound.
Buzz.
Taryn.
Silent Hill.
Yeah, well done.
Nice.
Question 12. Marta's Line.
Meow. Saints
Oh.
Row.
Yeah, good one.
Brilliant.
Oh, well done.
Question 13. Concluding Delusion.
All this silence is great podcasting, isn't it? No, I can't get that one.
I haven't got it.
Oh, Meow. Got it.
Paul?
Final Fantasy.
Yeah, well done.
Done. Oh.
Question 14. Felony Supervisor.
Crime Boss?
Gareth. Yeah, that's it. Question 15. Marvelous Mugging Vehicle.
Buzz.
Darren.
Grand Theft Auto.
That's
Yeah.
great. That's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. Good.
Next one. Crown of Light. This one's one word,
Buzz.
though. Darren.
Halo.
No.
Yeah. Put that one in for you.
If I didn't get that, I would have just logged off in protest.
Question 17. Maroon Down.
No, I haven't got that. Red Dawn?
No.
No.
Meow.
Paul?
Is it Red Faction?
No.
Oh.
Darren, I think you're missing an infamous game from release this year.
Oh no, the pressure. I can't think.
Oh, it's all on you now, Des.
Is it maroon as in the colour or maroon as in stranded on an island?
The colour.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're spelt the same anyway, aren't they?
Oh yeah, true. Oh, I don't know. I can't think.
Redfall was that one.
Oh,
We all
yeah.
well forgotten about that one. Put it to the
Yeah,
back
we've
of our
all-
mind.
I haven't forgotten about it.
Paul's the only,
The 60 FPS is there now.
Paul's the only one playing it. Good.
Oh, I missed that press release.
Well, you got to keep your finger on the pulse, Darren, when you're a games journalist like what we are.
I've got 3 more, so
Go on.
quickly
Go
go
on,
through
let's
these.
do it.
Do we have a score
question-
check?
Yeah, you don't want one.
Oh,
Paul's way ahead.
Way ahead.
So
Paul's done it.
Paul's won, but just do these last 3. Question 18. Diminutive ticker.
Buzz.
Darren.
Atomic Heart.
Well done.
Well done.
Question 19. Sharpshooter noble.
Meow.
Yeah, Paul.
Sniper Elite.
That's good. I
Yeah.
love that.
Oh yes.
And finally, I like this one as well. Shielded nucleus.
Oh, sounded like somebody got it then.
No.
No.
What is it? What is it?
Armored core.
Oh, that's
Of
Oh,
course.
good.
Yeah.
that's good.
Great.
Very good.
Very good. Very good. Brilliant.
That's a good quiz. I like that.
Okay.
Richard, well done.
Good. Don't copy it. Don't copy it, Paul. It's Richard's. It's Richard's.
I'll copy it, but I'll do it running it through an Italian dictionary.
Oh, God.
Paul's going to come back with an accent next week.
Yeah. Good. Now, gentlemen, if we need to get hold... No, what we saying? Let's see what you're doing next week. Let me know. Richard?
What did I put? Oh, yeah, I'm off to Taiwan next week.
Oh, yeah, of course. Brilliant.
Oh, nice.
Have a nice time.
Taiwan with work, and then 5 nights in Tokyo for me.
Oh, good. 5 nights in Tokyo.
I'm very jealous.
Like a small indie film.
Well,
Should make a small
similar
indie
to
film
a-
while you're out there.
Yeah, do it for us.
we'll be taking lots of pictures.
Good. Brilliant. Enjoy it, Richard. Darren, what are you doing?
So I'm looking forward to playing Alien Hominid Invasion, which is out now. I played it at WASD in London with Richard earlier in the year, so bit of a sequel to an indie hit, an Xbox exclusive back in the day as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Good. Paul,
Is that the one I have to help you with?
Yes, Paul, and you're going to love it. It's like Metal Slug, so if you can, but with cel-shaded aliens, so I'm sure you'll love it.
Can't wait.
Good. And Paul, what about you?
It's back to reality for me, unfortunately, so I'll be going back to work, although I've got a little bit of fishing at the weekend to look forward to as well, so not all bad.
Oh, good. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Now, we need to get hold of you. Where can we get hold of you, Richard?
I'm on X. No, they call it Twitter again. X and Instagram, and I'm at Dobbo1912.
And Paul, what about you?
I am on X and Threads, and my handle is at XboxHubPaul.
And Darren, what about you?
Is Thread still going?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a much nicer place than X as well.
Because
X
there's
seems
no
to be
one
full
there.
of, yeah, it's because it's like an echo chamber.
Just
No, there's lots of people there. It's just on X these days. It just seems everybody wants to argue, and it gets a bit tiring. Yeah, but it's worse now.
Is it? What about Instagram? You put a picture up there.
No.
I've just been a while. Sorry, guys. Just wanted to catch up on socials. I'm also on Twitter, and I'm going to refer it to Twitter forever because X is stupid. And the stupid sign on the stupid building by stupid Elon Musk is at 27 Darren is my handle. So follow me if you want politics and game chat.
yes.
More on politics just at the moment, I have to say.
Yeah. COVID inquiries.
There's a lot going on.
COVID inquiries going well.
On.
Right, and you can find me on Jesus Riley on many things. But for now, gentlemen, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.TheXboxHub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds, Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub, and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.